and girls. Y'all know we got to get legends on here, and I only like when the legends come through. You know what I'm saying? This is not only a Philadelphia legend, this is a boxing legend. You understand? Motherfucking Ivan Mighty Robinson. How you feel, I?
I'm good. How you, champ?
I'm chilling, man. I'm just on here, man. What's going on?
Nothing, man. Just chilling. I'm glad to be on, man. Thanks for having me on.
For sure. We gonna jump right in, right? What made you start boxing?
You?
Talk to me though.
My dad. My dad had me in his room with him, sitting on his lap, hitting his hands, and he just decided at the age of 5 to take me to the gym.
Was your father already a trainer?
Yeah, he was already a trainer,
Okay.
working with his brothers.
So how many? So like, how old was you with your first fight?
Um, I had to be about 9.
Yeah. When you took your first fight, were you ready in your mind?
How you ask me, was I ready in my mind? I mean, I was about 8 or 9 years old. I guess I was about ready. My dad threw me in there about that age.
Yeah. How many amateur fights altogether?
You mean all together?
I mean,
Talking
just
to
give me a
my
roundabout.
all together about I think my dad said like 89.
Okay. That's a lot of fights. I only had 16 fights.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fights. Now listen, when shit start getting real, I'm talking about around the times qualifying for the Olympics. You know what I mean? What was the mindset around that time?
Um um the mindset was crazy because back then me it was good. It was fun, man. I mean, back then, it was really fun doing it because, I was around those guys like Oscar, Chris Bird, Eric Griffin, um,
Mhm.
Terry McGroom, um, Shane Mosley, uh, Paul Vaden. I was around those guys, man. I was out in the world, man. I was traveling to Barcelona, Spain, uh, Germany, Russia. We was traveling, man. We was going to the trials, fighting all those countries, man. Man, it was fun back then.
Yeah. Who was your toughest fight in the amateurs?
De La Hoya,
Why you say? How many times did y'all fight?
3 times.
So why you say he was your toughest?
Far as in the states, he was. Far as international, was Arnaldo Mesa from Cuba, because he was a world champion and he really didn't want to fight me. He had that Cuban style. He did a lot of running from me, man. I mean, that Joker ran from me, man. He had that Cuban style. He hit and he moved. He was really, really tough, man. He was hard to hit. He knew how to score and get away. He knew how to stay away from me. The Koreans, they wasn't really that tough, but they really knew how to score. They stayed in front of you. The Russians, they really wasn't that bad. They knew how to fight, but they stayed in front of you and they wasn't really that mobile. The Koreans, they wasn't that bad. They stayed in front of you. They took punches. Poland's, they wasn't that bad. The Canadians, they pretty much were like the Americans. They wasn't that bad. Um, Chinese, you ain't had to worry about them. Um, um, the Irish, they wasn't bad. We beat them up a lot. Germans, they wasn't that bad. We didn't see them that much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it really wasn't that bad. We didn't really face too many other countries that much. And it was just like we seen DC. We seen them. They was tough. We fought them a lot.
Yeah.
Jersey. They was like right next door. But that basically was it, man. And we stayed here much. We fought a lot of guys from Philly a lot. They was tough.
Yeah.
Um, that basically was it, man. And we rumbled here in the city a lot. Um, I didn't really have too many guys here in the city that I really faced a lot because basically here in the city, man, it was like, I was like the number one guy here in the city of Philly, man. I was that guy. I was called Mighty Mouse. Man, I was like really beating up guys here in the city.
Where the nickname come from? Mighty Mouse.
I was the smallest guy in the gym, well, in the city. And I just really terrorized people here in the city.
I used to listen. I used to hear that name a lot when I was a kid. A lot of people. I
I
don't know if
hate
you know. I don't know if you know it, but you had a lot of cousins. You had a lot of uncles. A lot of old heads. That's my young boy, Mighty Mouse, Mighty Mouse. And
it.
I never got to see you till probably like 2003 or something like that. You know what I mean, I was a kid. I started boxing. So what was it about Oscar that made him tough?
Man, it was just, man, Oscar was just it was crazy because Oscar, I didn't really hear about Oscar until in '89. Um really what happened in '89. I got all the way in. I got all the way up until the Golden Gloves Nationals. It was Barry Stump and Joe Frazier's son Marvis. They took
Mm-hmm.
me all the way to the Golden Gloves finals, and I really didn't know anything about him, and he really didn't know anything about me. Made it all the way to the finals, got to the finals, and I beat him. But at that time, he was the Golden Boy.
Mm-hmm.
We met each other in the finals, and everybody who seen me and him fight, and that was at the time they was talking about him. Golden Boy this, Golden Boy that. I'm from Philly. I ain't care nothing about him. We got in there and we fought, and I thought I beat him. Everybody else thought I beat him, but he got the nod. We went to the Mid Atlantic. We fought at the Mid Atlantic finals. Got there again. He edged me again. Everybody thought I beat him. Then we got to the Goodwill games. Um, he was on the West and I was on the East. Everybody said that me and him was going to meet again. We met in the finals. It was on USA. Nat, we was on one. He was on the West. I was on the East. We met in the finals. First time in history we both met in the finals. USA both East beats West. We both met in the finals. First time, 125. Uh, USA both met. We packed the house. The first time we met in Vegas, it was open up the first Mandalay Bay USA national TV. We met on TV, national TV. We met, sold out the arena. It was on USA television. We
Yeah.
both fought. The whole world seen us fight. Everybody thought I won. He edged me again.
Mm.
Um, Everybody thought I beat him. I thought I beat him. He said that he didn't think that I won. He thought he won, but everybody thought I won. So for him, deciding that he didn't want to stay at 125, he moved up to 132.
Okay.
So he moved up to 132. I stayed at 125. That was the Olympic year. So that was the year that everybody thought that it was going to be two gold medals. I was going to win the 125. He was going to win the 132. But that
Right.
year, I lost to Julian Willer, which everybody thought I beat Julian Willer that year too. But for
Yeah.
some reason, he edged me out. What happened was what I thought was best with Oscar. What made him so good? He was naturally a southpaw.
Right.
They switched him from being a southpaw to a right-hander because he was so strong with his left hand. That's why I thought he was so good. That made him so powerful because his left hand was he was so strong from his left handed side because they switched him from a southpaw. But what I
Yeah,
thought what made him so good was because he was so tall at 125. I think he was like 5'11", and
yeah,
at that height, carrying that height at 125, being at 125, carrying that height, man, it was just miraculous for him to be so tall. And at 125, at 5'11", and my height, I'm about 5'8", and being at 125, that's kind of tall.
right.
And he was strong. His left hand is just so good. That's why he's so powerful with that left hand. And he was so strong with his jab.
Yeah,
But I could box pretty well. He got a pretty good left hand. But I just thought that I always, with me, with my lightning speed, I didn't have power, but I was just so quick, and I just put combinations to good. I could throw an 8-punch combination so well. I thought that's was always what was good with me. My hand speed was just so good.
that's what
That's
I
what
was
I
going to
thought
ask
was
you.
good with me. Huh?
That was my next question. How did you develop your style? Like when did you decide on, all right, I'm gonna be a slick puncher, combination puncher?
Well, that's how my dad always worked with me. My dad always worked with me with my combinations and my movement and my angles. That's what kept me. I felt that's what always kept me mobile with all my boxing skills. I mean, I never was a puncher. I was always a guy that always had mobility with my hand speed and my angles. I was
Hmm.
never a big puncher. You know that from the door. You always do that from the door, Greg. That I was never a puncher. I was always the guy with volume punches, and I always gave angles.
Yeah. What about when you decided to turn pro? You know what I mean? What was that decision like? And then how did you go about it?
Well, like I said, my dad always worked with me with my volume punches. My dad was always good with my defense and my angles. That what gave me great mobility when it came to me turning pro. But
Uh-huh.
for some reason, I think like after, mm, trying to think what fight it was when I turned pro. I think it might have been like after my 14th or 15th fight, after probably like really after me and my dad had our little separation, after we decided to split part ways. That's when I decided to all of a sudden become an inside fighter, because as long as I was with my dad, I
Yeah.
always boxed. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I decided to become an inside fighter, and that kind of like the weld on my mobility to stop boxing and go inside.
Yeah. Did you feel like you had to fight that way?
To some point, yeah.
Okay. Because it was, I guess, because what I'm getting is from the amateurs, them taking fights from you. You like, all right, I gotta beat these dudes up a little bit.
To some point, yeah.
Yeah.
In some ways, when you turn professional, sometimes your style of fighting makes you the world to go a different way.
Yeah. How was it having your dad as your trainer?
Um, Having my dad was a plus. Losing my dad was a minus,
Mm. Why you say that?
because a lot of things in my fight game diminished. It was a minus. Having my dad was a plus.
Did you ever bring him back in the professionals?
Yeah, but it was kind of a little too late.
Okay. You know, one of the main things they always talk about when they talk
Don't
about
start.
idol.
Don't start. Don't start.
I gotta talk about it.
I hate you, Greg.
I gotta talk about it. They always bring up Arturo Gatti, and they always bring up Arturo Gatti like he won the fight when you whooped on his ass. And and I had to explain to him, a lot of my young boys. You know what I mean? They like, Floyd beat the shit out of Arturo Gatti. I said, yeah, he beat him up. You know what I mean? Years later, but he was taking ass whoopings years before that from Ivan Robinson. When you got the call to fight Arturo Gatti, what was that like?
Well, you know, in every fighter's life, in every fighter's career, there even when I was an amateur getting ready to turn pro, and even before a fighter, when he's an amateur beginning to turn pro, or before he become a fighter, or he's in the mix of becoming a fighter, there I don't care, even a basketball player or even a soccer player or a baseball player, when you sitting down getting yourself situated to become an athlete or whatever the case may be, you always say, I know you even said it, Greg, you sit in front of the TV, or you sit in your chair, or you sitting down like you're doing now, you say to yourself like, I want someday in my life or in my career, I want to be known for something in my career. And I said to myself, like I know you said, when you sit in your bed, I want to be known sometime in life, in my sport or in my career, that someday I want somebody to say, you know what? I want to be known at some time in my career that I did something in my sport at some time. And at some time when I was coming up in my life, I always wanted somebody or somebody, period, to say that I did something in my career. And I always said coming up that I wanted somebody or the world to say that Ivan Robinson did something in his career. And
Yeah,
I did. I wanted y'all fans to say that Ivan Robinson did something spectacular in my career. And y'all saying it. I did something spectacular in my boxing career. And I beat Arturo Gatti. I didn't know it was gonna be Arturo Gatti, but I wanted y'all to say something spectacular about me, and y'all saying it. I beat
yeah,
Arturo Gatti not once but twice, and y'all saying it. I never expected it to be that y'all would be saying it this long, for this many times, for this long in my career, and now that I'm done, y'all still saying it, and I'm glad that y'all saying it, and I'm proud that y'all saying it, and it means a lot to me. Yeah, y'all still talking about it, and I'm proud that y'all saying it, and it feels good for y'all to be saying it, because it means a lot to me.
yeah,
And the reason that I feel great about it, for one, because it meant a lot to me, because for one, I'm looking back on it, because at that point and at that time in my career was great at that time, and at that time I needed something in my career for something to happen great at that time, because at that time in my career I was great and I was good, but I needed something better to happen, because at that time when that fight happened, I had just lost to uh Philip Holiday,
yeah,
like maybe 3 months ahead of time or 2 months ahead of time. I had just lost the biggest fight of my career, which I think I got robbed.
yeah,
I had fought Philip Holiday. I should have won. Um, Shane Mosley turned around and beat the kid I just lost to, and I really wanted to fight Shane Mosley. And the thing was, I had just had got knocked out like 2 months before that to fight Shane Mosley, because I had fought a month before that a kid named I can't remember his name. I fought a month before that in Philly at the Armory, and suffered a cut in a fight in at the Armory. I got cut in a fight,
yeah,
and I thought the fight went well. I stopped the kid, but I got cut. And Shane Mosley came to Philly, was getting ready to fight somebody that he had just beat Philip Holiday and won the title, but he came to Philly to fight somebody, and I went down to the press conference and got into a big argument with Shane Mosley, because he was coming to our city to fight some bum to defend his title. But I
yeah,
went to the press conference to to make a big whirlwind with Shane Mosley, because he coming into our city to fight some bum study coming to our city to fight me. I go down there, make a big argument, make the fight with me and him. So he made the fight with me and him. I go back to the gym, which I was already in the gym training, but me and Shane get into an argument. I make the fight. I go back to the gym to finish up training, make the fight, sign the contract. We fight. My stupid behind goes back to the gym, start training, but reopen the cut. The cut reopens. I gets out the fight. We had to postpone the fight. So I'm out the fight. So now I'm mad, but I was kind of like signed with main events. So Arturo Gatti had just got beat by Angel Man Freddy, and I'm looking for a fight. Arturo Gatti looking for a fight. So what my manager does in main events, they makes the fight with me and Arturo Gatti.
Yeah.
So what happens? My manager calls me up 3 days later, and I'm asleep. He calls me up in the middle of the night and says, "Ivan, you up?" I'm like, "No, it's 3 o'clock in the morning." He like, but I need you up right now." I'm like, "Oh, can you call me later?" He like, "No, I need you up now. I got a fight for you." So I'm kind of still asleep, but I get up. I'm like, "What's up, Eddie?" He like, "I got a fight for you. I got a fight for you." I'm like, "Eddie, all right, what's the deal?" He like, "Yo, I got a fight for you." I'm like, "All right, what's the deal?" He like, "I got to fight for you." I'm like, "All right, Eddie, who we want to fight?" I fighting who you want to fight. He like, "We're gonna fight Arturo Gatti." I'm like, "Huh?" He like, "Yeah, we're gonna fight Arturo Gatti. We're gonna fight Arturo Gatti." I'm like, "Are you serious?" He like, "Yeah, we're gonna fight Arturo Gatti." I'm like, all right, let's go. So at the time, I'm married and my wife is like right next to me. So I'm like, "Are you serious?" He like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, let's go." So I gets up, I call my team. I'm like, "Yo, we can ready to fight Arturo Gatti." He like, my team like, and at the time I got Butch. Butch is
Oh,
my
hit
head
Butch.
trainer. So
Yeah, I
Butch
remember.
like, Butch crazy. Butch, he like, "Come on, man, let's go." So next morning, we pack our bags, we set camp up. My manager Eddie Woods, he thorough dude. He gets camp. We call around, get camp ready. Yo, man, we ready. We set up camp. We ready for camp. We set up camp. We ready to go.
How long was
Everything.
the camp?
Camp was 8 weeks, dog. We wasn't
Okay.
playing. We was ready. We was ready to go, man. But my thing is when we set up camp and we had to get ready for camp. Only thing about camp that was the only thing I didn't like about camp was that when we went to the press conference was in New York. My head trainer, which was Butch, at that time it was Butch and Leon Tash. We didn't have a second man at the time.
Right.
When we went to New York for the press conference, we go to press conference, and I never forget. I don't think you know my man Rennie Carter. You know Rennie?
No.
All right. So my man Rennie went with me. It was me, Rennie, and Eddie Woods. We drove down to New York to the press conference. So I never forget. We go down to the press conference. We get to the press conference. Is me, Rennie, my man Eddie Woods, and when we get down there, it's Arturo, uh, Pat Lynch, Carl Moretti. At the time, it was Kathy Duva, Dan Duva, and Dino Duva. So when we get to the press conference, we sitting there, they announce everybody. So they announced me first, and they got Gaddy last. So when they announced me, they announced me, and then they asked me everything. So when I get on the podium and I talk to them, I ain't say much. I just like, thank you for having me. We're gonna have a good fight. I thank Gaddy for picking me for the fight. We're gonna have a good fight. And it's gonna be a good fight, and we're gonna have a good fight. And I ain't say much, so I guess. Oh, so now Gaddy gets on a podium and he talk. He gets on there and he goes and say, well, it's gonna be a good fight. Ivan's a good opponent, but I'm gonna knock him out. But I don't know why he think he gonna win because he brings knives to a gunfight.
Hmm.
So I'm sitting there scratching my head, Greg. Show you how dumb I am, right? So when we get off, when we get ready to leave, they bring us to the podium. They have us do the stare down and everything. So when we get off, my dumb behind, my right hand man, Rennie, right? I asked him, not knowing. I asked my man Rennie, this my best friend, my right hand man. I says to him, I say, Rennie, I says, what do Gaddy mean bring knives to a gunfight? I
Right.
never forget this, Greg, as long as I live. I said to my man Rennie, I said, Rennie, what do Gaddy mean bring guns to a gunfight? I never forget it, Greg. My man Rennie said, you must be the dumbest kid on the planet. He said, man, Gaddy says, you bringing gun knives to a gunfight. He said, "Man, you don't have no punching power." He said, "Man, you don't do nothing but have knives." He said, "You ain't gonna do nothing but cut him up." He said, "Man, you don't have no knife, you don't have no gun." He said, "He gonna knock you out." Man, that stuck with me the whole camp.
Yeah.
The whole camp. Yo, I went to camp, man. We had. I know you remember the boy. Anthony Thompson and Mike Melvin.
Yeah.
I had them
Yeah.
to train with me the whole 8 weeks, man. The
Right.
whole 8 weeks. All I did because I trained with them at 26 and Master were hurt and at 26 and Master the whole 8 weeks, man. Them jokers gave me work the whole 8 weeks. The whole 8 weeks, man. We trained with them jokers the whole 8 weeks, man. They gave me good work, man. We trained with them guys, man. I banged with them all 8 weeks, man. Trained with them jokers always leading up to the fight, man, right before the walk to the ring, right? We always say a prayer, saying prayer, and then we walk out to the ring. But if you notice, right when because they filmed the whole fight, the walking, you'll see right before the walk out to the ring, I ran out to the joint
Right.
because we always don't, but I ran out to the ring, man. And you notice the first round when the bell started, I ran right out to the ring, man. I tried to knock that Joker head off, man.
Yeah.
I man, I was mad the whole camp, man. The whole
Yeah.
camp, all I wanted to do was just bang that Joker head. I wanted to put that Joker head in the canvas, man. I was so mad at that fight, man. But I love Gaddy, man, because Gaddy was the only guy who really gave me the opportunity to really make some money. Because back then, them guys duck and dodge. They didn't really give you opportunity to give you a chance to get on the podium. Because
Mm.
back then, even though guys are not giving guys opportunity to make money, man. They ducking and dodging guys. They don't want to fight this guy. They don't want to fight that guy. Even though Gaddy was a warrior, man. And I take my hat off to him, man, because even though Gaddy was just a warrior, man, Gaddy gave me the opportunity to be in that position to do the things that I needed to do and be where I needed to be because he was just that type guy, man. And you say what you want to say. Gaddy just I mean, I love him, man. He gave me the chance that I need, and even though I beat him, he still came back and he wanted to fight me again. So, I love him to death, man, and I take my hats off to him.
Yeah. So do you feel? I hear what you just said about the ducking and dodging. Do you feel like it's a lot more of that going on now, or it was the same as back then?
Yeah, Yeah, it is. It's a lot of that nowadays, man. I just feel as though these guys just need to just go ahead and stop dodging guys and just let it happen, man. For what reason? Why you need to duck a guy? For what reason? Everybody, like I said, you got two fists, you got two legs. Go in there and just make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Why you worrying about? I mean, yeah, you are worried about an L because an L can come in a bad situation. But I feel as though you guys are all the same. All you guys are equal.
Right. Long as they make weight.
Yeah, please make weight. And that's another thing too. I mean, where's all this 8 pounds coming in at? Man, look, all this dehydration clauses and all that, man. And these guys make weight. I mean, it is what it is.
You being from the old school, who would you say remind you of the old school that fight now?
Say that again.
Who would you say reminds you of the old school fighters that's fighting right now?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, it, Jerron Ennis fights pretty much like I I can't I say Jerron, but a lot of people gonna say I'm saying him because we're from the same city. You know, Jerron fight pretty much like old school. Um, uh, Tank, Devin, Shakur pretty much fight like him too. Terrence Crawford trains much like them. Uh,
Who your favorite?
who's my favorite?
Who your favorite fighter right now? You don't
Hmm.
fuck with, you don't fuck with these niggas,
No, not really. Not too many of them. No, not too many of them. No.
do you do you feel like the fights is too far and in between nowadays? Like these guys be fighting once a year,
Yeah,
twice.
they fight. They fight too far in between. Yeah, they really
Yeah,
do. Fighters don't fight, and they don't fight too often. They don't fight. They don't fight like we used to fight back in the day. These guys fight once a year. You know, once every 19 months.
yeah.
These men fight like these guys fight like women being pregnant.
Mm. So what would you say does to what does that do to a fighter when they take off for a year, shit like
It
that?
hurts. It hurts them. I don't understand how they feel. I don't. I'm trying to figure how they live. How do they live?
Mm.
Trying to figure how do they live? How do
Mm.
they really live? I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, you gotta have a hell of a budget.
It definitely do. I'm trying to figure out how do they do it.
Yeah. Who is it that you wish you could have fought back in the day?
Mm. I wish I could afford them all. Really, I really wish I could afford them all, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
You ever you ever box Mildred Teller?
Nah,
You ain't never boxed.
nope. The
That's
only
crazy.
person, the only person that I sparred that gave me a hellified that gave me hellified trouble was Purnell.
Mm.
Purnell gave me trouble like it was no tomorrow, man.
All the moving.
All the movement, the head, the hand speed, the movement of the head, the angles. Oh my God. That was enough to give me trouble that I wouldn't want to box nobody else.
Hey yo, you know what I remember? Remember
What's
when
that?
you was getting ready for Chavez and they had you locked in the gym
That's crazy.
on Fifth Street. I remember that because one day they had us come up for sparring. I didn't get to box you, but you boxed Lil Kev and Darrell from my gym. You boxed them
Mm.
too.
Yeah, that
I
was crazy.
remember
That's crazy.
that.
That is crazy.
Real shit. That's some crazy shit. So what you think you and Shane would have looked like?
That would have really been tough. That would have been tough. That would have been something that's something that I really wanted that. I think that would have been a great fight because I was really on my game right then and there. Right, I, I really wanted to know what that would have been like because that was right at that time when I was. That was right when it was the Gaddy fight. So I really would have wanted to know what that would have been like.
Mm-hmm. Both of y'all had fast hands, I tell you that.
Right.
That would have been a great fight for sure. So you felt like that fight just didn't get made because, well, like you said, you got cut, and
Yep.
that and that threw the timing off, and they had to get him in the ring.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel you about it on that. What you so what big fight you want to see nowadays?
Yeah. It's just so. Uh, I want to see Tank and Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see. I want to see. It's just. I want to see Jerron fight anybody in the top 147. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. I just want to see him fight anybody in the top 147. Yeah, I do want. I really do. Well, no, I ain't gonna. I don't want to say anybody in the top 47. I really do want to see him fight. I want to see him fight Crawford. I really
Yeah.
do. I really do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Crawford is the best at 147,
Yeah.
and if he is the best at 147, I believe Jerron is the best at 147. So let them two both nail it out. I mean, I believe Crawford has what it takes, and Jerron has what it takes. I mean, they both two A class fighters. So let it go. I can't take nothing away from Crawford, and I can't take nothing away from Jerron. So
Yeah.
let them both go at it.
How you feel about today's fighters? Like how would you do with today's fighters at 135 pounds?
At 135 pounds,
Yeah.
I believe I do well. I do well with all of them. I believe. I'm not giving no 135-pound class champion no 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 over the top class 135-pound champion blowout class with over me. I'm just not. I don't care even if he 45 and no, I'm still not giving him no straight A
Right.
blowout. I'm
Right.
not doing. Just not
Respect is
doing.
earned. The
Yes,
respect got to
sir.
be earned.
Yes, sir.
I feel you on that. I ain't mad at you. 37 ain't about to me. They say how you think Floyd and Bud would have looked, or Floyd and Manny.
Um, um, I love Floyd. Um, I'm still not getting. Even though Floyd is, y'all want to give him that king status. I'm still not giving. I'm still not giving Floyd a straight A class, straight run through over nobody now over whatever weight y'all want to give him a class over even too. And I'm not I'm still and I'm still not giving Floyd a straight A buster move over that. Floyd is the man because I still say even though Floyd beat Gaddy the
Yeah.
way he beat Gaddy what 2 years after I beat him.
No, more than 2 years.
It was more than 2 years.
That shit was like 6 years.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, like I love him, but I can't. I mean, I can't. I can't. I mean, he beat him after I beat him, and then he ah. I gotta leave that alone. I can't.
Hey, I appreciate you coming through, OJ.
I appreciate it too, man. I've been trying to nail you down because even though you older,
Pause.
you're older than me, but even though you still older, you still hard to get a hold of, man. You still move quick for your age, dog.
I ain't gonna never stop being quick. Hey, yo,
That's
let the
what's up.
people know where they can reach you at.
They can. I'm like you, man. It's hard to get in touch with.
My man, I appreciate you.
I love you too, man. Always, man. I'm always gonna respect you, man, and always keep up with you, man. You my young buck.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I love you, Greg. Keep it up, man. I'm
All right,
always
love
all
you too. I love you
right,
too.
fam.
Get
All
with
right,
you.
fam. One.
All right.